Hi, I'm Julie. This video describes the energies of this week with the aid of astrology. It's not only interesting for twin flames, but for everyone who wants to consciously observe life. The global energies impact every human being on the planet. We simply perceive them in varying strength, and we act them out differently. This week's headline is, "In the spiral of life, all ends are beginnings." Last solar week was about the need for community. This solar week is about doubt. What I overlooked in last week's transit was the finger of God. That's an astrological transit, pointing to retreat and to revelation. It could have brought profound realizations to some. That cognitive process will carry over into this week. This week's energies are less emotional. Instead, doubts and confusion can potentially hit in twice as hard. More images of the past might be floating by, bringing us emotions too, but the whole week is more focused on working with the mind. If you're doubting yourself, or if you're doubting your way, know that it's just the global energies that make you doubt. It's not real in that sense. A certain amount of doubt and cautiousness is nice, and it can be very beneficial, but it should never go against ourselves, and it should not become self-doubt. This doesn't mean that we should deny our flaws. Without question, each of us has been given quite a few of them. This is also what unites us and makes us equal. No one is perfect. Neither do you have to be that. We don't have to try to be what is impossible. We can recognize our shortcomings and embrace them, while being open to growth and to personal evolution at the same time. The resignation that the new moon solar eclipse brought culminated in doubt with yesterday's full moon. On the other hand, it could have also brought the acceptance of what is, that flowers as doubt coupled with a deep trust that the process will gradually develop as it is supposed to develop, even if it takes time. The full moon takes place in the gate before completion and will lead to after completion. Those are the two final hexagrams of the I Ching. It's all about transition. Every transition, be it mental, emotional, or physical, needs the determination and strength to sit with the process. And once we broke through to the other end, once the mental distillation process has finished, the essence remains, and we realize that the essence has been there all along the way of our seeking. It was just clouded by confusion. This is what the full moon is about. Especially this affects some divine masculines out there. This week's doubt can easily lead to mistrusting the other and doubting the connection. They betrayed me once. Will they betray me twice? What is knowing our boundaries? And what is building a wall around ourselves? If you are oppressed by past memories floating by, if you are not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, look back at the long way that you have already come. Look carefully at the things that you have already changed and accomplished. We easily tend to forget that and get lost in hopelessness. But we have already come so far. That's not just nothing. In the dark times that you endured and overcame, did you always see the light at the end of the tunnel? Probably not. Likely, it felt horrible. But still, you made it through. And now you are stronger, you are more experienced, you are more authentic, healthier, wiser, or whatever the case may be. But while you were struggling to get there, likely there was no certainty in it. Maybe you doubted if you would ever get there. Nonetheless, you made it. Cosmic will and cosmic timing is always at play, regardless if we see it or not. Seeing the logic behind it, again and again, seeing our doubt and confusion for what it is, just a pattern and a step on the way, that slowly leads to accepting it and to surrender. In the night or early morning of March the 2nd, the new week started, when the sun moved in the gate of doubt. 10 minutes after that, the full moon was at its fullest. The big question of this full moon was, can you let me be who I am, or will you wreak havoc and turn against me once I let you into my life? Can we recognize who could be valuable in times of struggle, and are we open to investigate if that person is trustworthy? Or are we so distrustful and suspicious of the other that we just nip things in the bud from the very start and go for it all alone? Do we cut something off that could have been fruitful? Maybe a twin flame who wants to reconnect? Or do we stay present with our observation and our analyzing of the situation until the picture truly gets clearer? Does the other have the authenticity and spirit to really grow with each other? What's the crisis that it will trigger? What's the change that it can bring? In most cases, it probably won't hurt to let the evaluation process run its course from a safety distance. On the 2nd of March, in the noon, Mercury in the gate of crisis trines Jupiter in the gate of breakthrough. You can look up the exact astrological positions by clicking on the link to the article in the description box below. Moon is opposite Mercury and Venus, square Mars. This can bring a whole lot of inner turmoil that makes it difficult to listen within. It can make it difficult to not let our inner pull and knowing be overrun by mental chit-chat. It can bring out very insensitive behavior in people. However, when we have managed to integrate our mind so that it no longer moves us, but when instead it serves our body and authentic direction, this aspect can help us to understand and to accept where we are going and to help lessen our mental resistance. It can help us to embrace change and to embrace that nothing lasts. It can help us to truly understand that especially inner change and growth always brings difficulties and unpleasant feelings. In twin flames, this will mostly concern those twins in union and this wave of twins coming together now. Do the difficulties and unpleasant feelings make the whole process worthless? They don't. All in all, even when we go one step backwards, we can still go one step forwards when we trust our body and choosing the right experience. If you want to find out more about your body's inner navigation system, you can click on the link in the description box that will lead you to the aura type calculator. However, the question is simple. What are we open to, and is it really worthwhile? Is there something that needs to be communicated, that could cause conflict, but that is essential for the other to know and to understand? Do we communicate it, or do we shy away, hiding in false harmony? Maybe even hiding in relationships that are harmonic, but that bring no progress and that aren't authentic. This aspect could make us fending off all possibilities for sharing insights and for experience, change and progress. It could make us cling to a dissatisfying status quo, out of doubt or out of a fear of crisis, even when the opportunity was worthwhile. This will likely apply to the next wave of twins that aren't yet coming into union, which doesn't mean that it won't happen, it will just take some more time. On the 3rd and the 4th of March, Venus and Mercury form a semi-sextile to Uranus, and the Sun is conjunct with Neptune. These aspects bring a fixation on getting to the experience that we desire, the experience that can turn everything around, the experience that we can experience as ourselves, because we aren't expected to be someone who we are not. Again, these aspects are about careful evaluation and investigation before plunging into an adventure. The more we know about someone, the more likely we can cut ice with them, the better we are prepared for the crisis that follows, and the better we can handle it. The best example of this is knowing someone's blueprint and the energies that are at work within them. Thus, knowing what makes them tick, knowing what their core wounds are, and knowing what they need individually. This aspect can also bring people to share their experience. I did all of that research on their hobbies, and it didn't help me to get to the experience, but I can share it with you so that you don't make the same mistakes. Or, I thought I learned so much about how to make a person want me, about how to seduce any man or any woman, but none of that worked, because it wasn't authentic. It wasn't the real me. Or, I only cared about the experience, and I didn't really value the person as who they are. That's why the disaster became that big. This is also about having doubts about the new experience or new projects that we might seem to be heading towards. It's about questions, mostly without proper answers. Do our questions even make sense, or are we wondering about the wrong things? What is it that we really do need to know? Might we need to stop doubting ourselves, to stop doubting the whole process, and instead start to focus our doubt on evaluating the information that is out there and making use of it? What is it that we really do need to know? Might we need to stop doubting ourselves, to stop doubting the whole process, and instead start to focus our doubt on evaluating the information that is out there and making use of it? Where can we find answers that can be truly satisfying? Can we uphold a certain level of doubt towards what others claim to get to an answer that truly makes sense and finally get to resolve a majority of our doubt? Or are we accepting others' answers randomly because they give us a feeling of security? It's extremely easy to get lost in confusion when we approach things from a purely logical perspective and deny our body's knowing. On the 4th of March, Mercury, Venus, and Chiron are in conjunction. This is about all-encompassing love and healing. It brings about a desire to find connection to the cosmos, to heal through relationships, to find the relationship that is truly worthwhile to be lived, and that doesn't get caught up in drama, everyday bitching, and superfluous vanities, but that has the strength to generate and to endure only those crises that bring true growth and that bring us closer together. It can bring the acceptance that life will always bring emotional turbulences. It can bring the awareness that most of them aren't worthwhile, but that some of them truly are. Which way do we go? Are we being cruel in our actions and words, generating crisis and hurting others? Or are we helping others along to get through the difficulties together, healing both parties in the process? On the 5th of March, the Sun is in quincunx to the North Node. Once more, this aspect is about being fixed on something that happened in the past and examining our doubts and the patterns that created the problem, be it related to twin flame separation, conflict within our committed partnership, or something regarding our work or our social circle. It can make us determined to further our understanding and to find more pieces to the puzzle in order to move forwards to where we are destined to go. On the 6th of March, Mercury and Venus enter Aries. This week is the last week where all major planets are direct. Next week will be about social openness, and Jupiter will turn retrograde, making us look even more closely at our fear of rejection. I'm sending you so much love. See you next week.